Welcome back to our sound control exercise. So in this example, we're going to find some creative way to visualize the sound information. So we tidy up the screen first and then create a new project folder. So this might probably the fourth example of playing back the sound. So I did and play sound 004 and then we name it and create the audio folder. So the next step is we try to copy a MP3 file into the audio folder and then drag it over to the desktop of your project. And to play back, we again go back to the audio device out and then connect it directly. So that will be the music that we're going to use for visualization. And again, we also use the spectrum information from Chop, the audio spectrum. And we connect directly here. And with the same logic, so we change the output length, that is number of sample, to set it manually. So because we are going to target with a screen of 1280 pixel width, so the width for this one is 12x0, so we make use of this one. And we also reduce the FFT size such that we can just have enough of them to put it in here. So the next step is we're going to select only one channel. So we have channel 1 and channel 2. It's up to you which one to use. For example, you can use channel 2. So that is the channel 2 information. And when you take a look at those values, it's pretty small, close to 0 and 0.02 something. So we now use a limit Chop to connect here, and then the way we limit it, we do a clamp, so make sure it's within the range, and then we do a normalization, turn on the normalize. So now you have the range between -1 to 1. And the next step is we pass it through a mathematical calculation. So the original range is -1 to 1, and then I convert it to 0 to 1. So this will be the sequence of number that I want to change it into pixel. So to convert into pixels, we select the top. That's one we call chop to. So chop to means you are going to take the input from a chop, that's from the number sequence, and then convert this number sequence into pixel of different brightness. So we first drag it over here to the chop entry, and then it will give you these lines of pixel. And the next step is we would like to make these lines of pixel a little bit longer. So there's two ways we can do so. One is the resolution, the other is fit. So we can try with the fit. And then in the fit, we select the custom resolution to our target one, 1200 XT by 720. And in the fit, we choose the fill, that is to fill up the whole screen. So that will be the spectrum of the sound that we are now playing back in the speaker. And in the last version of the exercise, we have set settle with this display and connect it to the output window, and then that will be your project in the last exercise. So for this one, we would like to take one step further. So how we can make use of this kind of black and white grayscale color chart. So one way we can play with, we try to combine it with your own image or whichever image that you can find. So I use the video device in and then do a flip in the horizontal direction. So this is the one we have. So the next step is we would like to do something together, but do it a little bit more subtly in a sense compared with just adding a composite chop to combine them together. So the one we want to play is the display. So the display is actually take two input and they try to shift the pixel another by using information from the second input. So what we are going to do is to connect your image to the first input and then connect the color bar of the sound information to the second one. So immediately you see something like this. So I also connect it to the output window as well. So if you take a look at the preview, so that will be something like this more or less copy some of the color tone of your video image. Okay, so it's not exactly what we want to do, so we can take a look at the parameter window for the display. And what we would like to do is actually we try to modify the display weight and to make it a little bit smaller, like 0.1, and also for the Y direction is also 0.1. So after you convert it to 0.1, you can take a look at the result. Is more or less you can recognize yourself. And we can also simplify it further by take a look at the two source. So we have the horizontal shift and the vertical shift. So if we want to make it simple, so we can just do with the horizontal shift and then turn off the vertical one, and you now have something like this. And if you still find it a little bit too much, so you can also further reduce the weight, and then to have a look of your result. So that will be something like this. So your movement, that is the width of your own image, is actually kind of responding to the sound, that is the vibration of the sound coming out from the speaker. So it seems to be your surface is vibrating according to the sound in this case. So the last step what we would like to do is just the usual step. We go out of the project one, click the perform window, change the output opening size to fill and remove the borders. And when we go back, we take a look at the perform mode and then we turn on the volume. So that is the result of this creative use of sound visualization.